Daryl Ryder, Browns beat reporter, with what he has seen from the job Andrew Berry's done with the Browns.
If you do fire Kevin Stefanski, you need to fire Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry bought the groceries, and the groceries are foul. He had a team that was built to win consistently, and he ruined it. He wasted Nick Chubb. He wasted Joel Bitonio. He wasted Myles Garrett. He's wasted Denzel Ward. He wasted Wyatt Teller. He's wasted this window. So why does he get the opportunity to continue? So that's where I'm at. If you want to keep both, fine. I get it. Whatever. But I am not on board with this one or the other. I did not like that report over the weekend that Andrew Berry is going to have tremendous say in the fate of Kevin Stefanski. That's not how this should work.
Ooh.
Andrew Berry's been buying the groceries here, and he put together the worst wide receiver room in the National Football League. He's the one that wanted Deshaun Watson. And then things got down the track so far that ownership really had no other choice but to say, you better go ahead and get that done.
The offensive line aged awfully quick as well. What are your thoughts? So the report that Daryl is referring to, we showed a little bit earlier, where it said that Andrew Berry will be heavily involved in whether Kevin Stefanski goes or not. Are you buying that, or what are your thoughts about Andrew Berry's era with the Browns?
Yeah, I buy it. It makes sense to me. I mean, if we just look at the situation in total, right, the reason the offense isn't good right now is because they haven't spent a lot of premium assets in the offense because they had to spend those assets on defense because they went out and traded for Deshaun Watson, right? The way I judge it is this, Dave. You can tell me how you feel about it. Wherever Andrew Berry puts his resources, I try to judge his ability to do his job based on where those resources are going and how those projects do. When he first got here, the first project was the offensive line. We all remember the offensive line in 2019 was terrible. He puts resources into that offensive line, and then all of a sudden, that offensive line that was terrible in 2019 goes to being one of the best units in football for the next 3 years. Then where's his next project where he spent all of his assets and all of the draft picks and everything else that he has? Well, he used that on the defensive line, right? And over the next 3 years, he put assets into the defensive line, and the defensive line became one of the best units in all of football. That's his track record. We can argue and debate about whether he should have better wide receivers, but part of the reason the Browns don't have better wide receivers is, one, where they're drafting wide receivers, two, what they planned for because they thought Deshaun Watson would be a franchise quarterback, and three, the coaching staff has significant input in who gets to come, who the Browns draft and who they don't. And some of the suggestions they've been getting from the offensive side of the ball have not been great. People get mad at the Tristan Wirfs over Jedrick Wills thing, but not enough people talk about the fact that Brian Callahan pounded the table for Jedrick Wills. Right? Like, these are things that the coaching staff has a say in. If you're upset that the Browns bet on this offensive line too long, well, Kevin Stefanski was pounding the table for this offensive line, that they didn't need to be replaced, that they weren't old, right? And they got old faster than most offensive lines get old. So I try to look at it like that. I think Andrew, when you look at where he's put his money, where he's put the assets that he has control of, those projects have worked out. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson one is one that everybody in the building gets a negative grade for, but there doesn't seem to be one clear person to point to as far as who's responsible for that trade. And the reason that thing went wrong doesn't even feel like something that you could have saw 3 years ago. So that's why I'm not really as hot on firing Andrew Berry as Daryl is in that clip. I think Andrew has demonstrated himself to do a good job. And you got to look at the last draft class and the last 3 draft classes. Like, you got starters out of undrafted free agents in 2023. You got starter out of Alex Wright, 2024. You got numerous starters out of that class. 2025 is one of the best classes in all of football this year. So that's the track record. We're going to be leaning on the draft more often. We're going to be leaning on the Andrew Berry assets more often. He's proven to do a good job with that. I think he's earned a chance to continue based on his track record. Kevin, on the other hand, unfortunately, the stuff that you liked about Kevin in 2020 has gotten worse since 2020.
I cannot argue the offense has not been it's been subpar the last 2 years, and he is an offensive coach.